Let's begin. Good morning, good evening to all our attendees from various parts of the world. I'm Ranjani, one of the city directors of Women Who Code Bangalore chapter, and this session on career pathways is specially designed for people who are interested in getting details about career development in specific domains. And we have Sheenam Singla and Namrata Bhattacharya from Accenture. And this session will be focused on getting a gist of all the AI skill types in the SAP domain and the initiative of Accenture accelerates inclusiveness in all areas in technology. So let me introduce the panel for today. Sheenam Singla is a consultant with Accenture and has around 16 years of experience in security and is now exploring artificial intelligence and its usage in security space. Yoga and listening to devotional music brings a smile on her face. So bring the same smile now.
Thanks. Hello, everyone.
Sure. Namrata is a delivery lead working in SAP domain for 24 plus years. She has deep expertise in SAP transformation and maintenance projects for large engagements across geographies in complex landscapes. Namrata has experience in systems integrations for various M&A and BPR activities. So, Namrata has been operating in the new construct massive transformation while maintaining business stability and growth. Glad to have you, Namrata and Sheena.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
The stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. Just to start in, Namrata, I was just wondering, you have been in the IT world for long, and what your journey has been like.
So, look, I started as a finance person. It was in the telecom industry, and that was way back, a long time, as you've seen my career.
Yeah.
And I got a break to work as part of a core team member in a large ERP implementation that was happening in the telecom industry where I started my work. Now, one thing led to the other, and since then, that was my first exposure in the IT world. Working in this space has given me a lot of opportunities. You get opportunities to work in industries. For example, I have been working in automobile, media, pharma, and that is all because you get a lot of exposure or industries where IT transformation is going on. So these are some of the industries. You also get exposure to a lot of geographies, which is more like, if it is a global MNC or even an Indian MNC, you are experiencing various processes or ways of business in geographies. And then the functions because you are not restricting yourself to finance or restricting yourself to supply chain or analytics. So that exposure also comes. So this has been tremendous learning for me. Starting as an MBA finance person and then having this career and very quickly, I would say, moving on to IT was a very good break for me. And there has never been any looking back since then. And I have never felt out of place being in this, IT world. So yes, my journey has been very, very interesting, and I'm very happy about it.
Good. It
So
means you have a lot of experience, right? So it's a domain experience along with the IT experience. Good.
exactly. And Sheena, in fact, I want to talk to you and ask you what was your starting point, and what has inspired you to grow technically on the technical side. You have always been on very close to technology. For me, there was a shift, but for you, it's like since the start. So, what has your starting point been, and how have you been growing so well in technology?
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Namrata, for asking that because I love to answer that question. I joined Accenture in 2005, and that was as a fresher. And proudly I can say I have completed 16 years with Accenture, and that was the start of my IT career. Of course, I started working and got an opportunity to do a bit of coding in the beginning, and then later on I moved to SAP security.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of opportunities in SAP security, and security had that picking up the pace at the time when I kind of joined in. And at that time it was more of R3, and later on the new versions were coming in, right? So we moved to ECC, and nowadays we are on S4 HANA. And of course the opportunities were lined up, and in these 16 years sometimes I think of, when I go back and I feel, looks like all the opportunities were lined up for me. And then
Mm-hmm.
I realized what is the reason for that. And then I feel I have never said no to anything, whatever has come my way. Within SAP itself, there were a lot of options. For example, from ABAP, I have moved to SAP. In SAP itself, if I take it, it was earlier just R3 or ECC security, but later on, again, they were like BW, HR, Fury, S4 HANA. Nowadays, of course, cloud, success factor, lot of stuff is coming in. So it has always been so fascinating that still I can say I am with Accenture, and still I'm doing the technical work in Accenture. So
So
that's why I love it.
that's great. That's
Yeah.
great to hear. And you have been growing, and you are an inspiration for a lot of people who are start with technology, have been growing in the technology side as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And really, Namrata, when I see you, I always wonder what is the turning point in your career. And of course, I know you have taken up a lot of challenging roles, and how you have been able to do that.
So, look, Sheenam, in continuation with what you started off, and if I tell you, I started off, my career after finishing my post graduation, and I am from economics background, and then MBA finance. And probably had I continued in that journey, perhaps I would have been a CFO. So, but the turning point in my career happened when the SAP implementation happened in my organization.
Hmm.
And since I started my career, and I was there in a department which was finance, controlling, and likewise, what they put me in the as a core team member of the implementation team. Now, when I got involved in that team, there was no expectation, I'll become an IT specialist, or I'll take up SAP as a role. But that was that was, I think, a good thing that I went into that without any expectation. And then I got exposed to SAP.
Hmm.
And when I started working on SAP, that was my first, I realized how vast it is and how it can impact organization, and what changes it brings to an organization itself when they are doing their IT transformation. And these were initial in those times, more I would say greenfield, because they were moving from a small ERP or zero ERP to SAP. I'm talking about those worlds. But currently also you have a lot of brownfields where people move to cloud, and also that exposure and that opportunities comes. Now when I saw those opportunities, I started to get motivated, not just by the IT world, but by the the ERP of SAP itself. And that's how I picked it up. And then slowly, not I would not slowly say slowly, it was just by getting involved in that ERP implementation, I decided to take it up as a full-time career. And there has been no looking back then. Since then, I have just been on my journey to on SAP, and have been getting quite a nice, exciting roles to do. And but you yourself have been taken up so many roles, and
Yeah.
Sheenam, I know myself personally what all have you done. So, is there organization support that you get, or how have you taken up or chosen those roles?
Okay. Yeah, I agree. So, and as I told you, Namrata, I was never choosy, right? Because I joined as a fresher and I picked it up the way it was. And of course, I started with SAP security. That was opportunity given to me, and I picked it up. And definitely, if you talk about the organization support, I have been nothing without the organization support. I must say that in Accenture, I have got a lot of opportunities. We have the training programs. We have a lot of, it's not just the technical training programs, I can say. It would be even the professional trainings and even the leadership programs, right? Which we go ahead and they nominate you and you join in, which helps you to shape your career. And I would say thanks to our learning and management team who is conducting these many sessions for us every year. And Accenture is spending more than 1 billion every year, right, in our people. So, which is a good thing. And that was one of the reason I believe I'm able to do. And there were cases, right, when I was working on multiple projects and with different skills, and some of those were niche skills. And of course, you probably need trainings for that. As for HANA and Fury was one of those when I picked up one of the project. And definitely because of Accenture's internal trainings and the courses we do and the certifications, I believe I feel happy and contented at the end of the day, right?
That's great. Yeah, that's really great. And, inspiring others as well as, leading by example is what you are. So that's really great.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel you have also worked on various streams, Namrata, right? And is it possible for you to kind of guide people what they can pick up in SAP world, right? It's a vast area.
Exactly, Sheenam. So SAP is wide as in, I can't even list the modules that you can look at. You can start with your function. For example, if you are from a finance background, you can start with that. I'll just give my case for ease. It's much relatable to people who are there on the call and have joined us virtually can understand. So my education has been actually commerce.
Mm.
It's like finance, and then I said I was working in the finance area when the ERP implementation started. But when I switched my role or I moved to the IT world, I started off with costing. Costing is a very unique and different kind of a world in SAP, where I started with costing. There in SAP, then I moved to finance. Again, within SAP, I started moving to consolidation. People who are from the finance background would understand legal consolidation. Then I started working on planning, analytics, and likewise. So you can pick up any module you want. You can pick up modules like sales and distribution. You can pick up modules like materials management, warehouse management, asset management. Now there's so much of focus on BW, right? Business warehouse. You can also pick up, roles in basis, which is the system administration kind of roles. So I'll give you examples like, I have worked with CAs, okay? CAs who have done as completed their studies as CA, completed this CA, and then taken on roles in domain or function. And then they have moved on either as formal training or joined organizations like Accenture, and we'll talk about what kind of people or training or investments that Accenture does. And then, it was a complete career change for them. And then moving on to like CA example, continuing with that example, you can move to audit, you can move to compliance. And in fact, from there, Sheenam, we can even get into your areas like, GRC. And so I would say the world is open. You just need to pick up what is your background or a domain, and you can switch or take a career start wherever you want.
I totally agree. And on your last point, I have seen someone who was with the CA background, and that person then moving to or working for the auditing firm, and then finally moving to the security and the compliance GRC process controls. Yes, I totally agree. It's
And you
a vast
and
area.
you yourself are a security expert. You are
Yeah.
like a pro there. So I mean, what do you see as important or options available in security? Like you said, CA, and a
Yep.
CA can move to security, GRC, like your career has been from a BAP and all this. What is most important, and what are the options that you see today? in security, ABAP
Yeah.
or SAP security?
Yes. So there are a lot. Just to give you a little background about security or SAP security. Before 2002, maybe people were not knowing much focus on SAP security. But in 2002, there was a law which is called as Sarbanes-Oxley law. We call it as SOX law. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
implemented by US, and the reason for that was in 2000, lot of organizations have gone into fraudulent activities, and because of that, US securities have come and imposed this law. And when that law was imposed, and what was the purpose of it was they wanted to ensure, right, the person cannot have conflicting duties. For example, a person who is creating a PO cannot approve it, but
yeah.
because that was happening it out, that is why a lot of accountant were getting into trouble because of that, and there was a financial loss going on. And that
Mm-hmm.
was the time when SAP security has picked it up, because I know earlier it used to be just a smaller module of basis, and used to have a same person who's doing basis would be managing security. So of course I joined when in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Namrata, Accenture has the biggest security team of 22 people for one of our client. No other organization had at the time. So that was a good thing to work, and where I got an option to work on. As I started with R3, of course, different options we have. People who wants to continue in SAP security, it's not just about ECC. Later on, the security was added for each and every module which SAP was supporting in. So then later
Right,
on, for example, we were having SRM system, we are having CRS system, we had BW, and then as we were moving to Bob J or business planning and consolidation, and nowadays, as you know, we are on Fury, S for HANA, and
right,
also from there itself, I see it doesn't refine to that only. Still, we have option to grow further, right? So we can move to success factor security, which is again taking a space nowadays. SAP GRC, as I mentioned, right, it's a
right,
governance and compliance tool where
right,
people can pick it up. And our journey will not end here, right? So if you have that much experience, for example, I see myself, right, so I can further grow my career from SAP security, which is just an application security. You can move to information security, you can move to cyber security or a mobile security. So lot of options you can get in. And from security, as you mentioned, right, people moving from CA to security, and here
yeah.
also I have
That's
seen people
true.
moving from security to even analytics. You can go ahead
Right,
with that also. So a lot of options in
exactly.
SAP.
Right, that's true.
Yeah. And I was just wondering, Namrata, how Accenture has accelerated the growth for women in IT. I know Accenture is a big organization with a lot of women employees. So what is your feel on that?
So some, I would just put some facts, okay, and then I will talk about how and what are the kind of work that we do. So we have 46% of our global workforce as women, okay, and we are targeting as 50-50 or even more by 2025. Now, it is ranked as first in the Inclusive and Diversity Index. So, the inclusive culture in Accenture has been very, very long, and it is a part of the way we work.
Hmm.
And it is the fifth diversity inclusive top 50 organizations in US as per 2020. And our own CEO, Julie Sweet, is ranked as number one in Fortune's most powerful woman of 2020. So that's what we are doing. But this does not come just like that. It is at the back of a lot of programs that we run. We run programs like Grow Women in Leadership. So these are people who are techno-functional, I would say, and moving on from to middle level. So they want people to get trained on leadership as well. So technical as and growing in leadership areas. So that is one. Some programs are focused, especially high tech women. make sure that these are specially curated programs for women to get to technology at a next level. Sheenam, you have been
Yeah.
participating in some of these programs like High Tech Women or Grow Women in Leadership. So these are programs specially focused on women to make sure that they grow at various levels, not just in technology. Then we have Edge program or Cyber Her. Cyber Her Edge program is again what you are doing is at the top notch. From a technology perspective, are you there? Are you doing training in areas which are upskilling or upcoming? Either it's artificial intelligence, or is it anything with to do with security, anything to do with analytics or analytics on cloud, or even your favorite subject, Cyber Her, and want to more hear about it from you. So these are certain programs that are done, and programs are run either as a 90-day program, or some programs are 6 weeks programs, so that there's a focus. You complete it, and then you're ready to take on the next level. So this is how the investment is done, and that's where we say that we are truly inclusive. At the same time, we will be able to get to our gender balance much earlier than what is our commitment of 2025.
And I
And
totally,
you would,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying, I totally agree with you, right? As you know, I was part of this Grow Women in Leadership program, and that was the one where I got an opportunity to learn about artificial intelligence. So that was the first break I got there. So it's good, and also uh, for women, right? So I remember when I went on maternity leave at the time, Accenture was one of the organization who had changed its ML policy from 3 months to 22 weeks. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. And that is the reason I'm still with Accenture.
So tell us now, Sheenam, you have to share on in this forum, what are the new IT skills that you want to learn and where you are investing? I want to know that. Yeah, everybody should know which are the skills that Sheenam is investing in.
Yes, you know, off lately, I was kind of going through all, right? So, where all I can invest in and what is left out. And I felt mobile security is one of the thing which is picking up pace nowadays. And the reason for that is, you know, as we are moving to Fury, right? So people are doing most of their transactions even from the phones, and it becomes really important how you secure your apps and what kind of development, and from the security perspective what is needed for that. So mobile security is one which I am thinking of to explore. And of course, along with the cyber security, as you know, because of this pandemic, everybody is working from home. Even our kids have to kind of do their online classes, and of course the threats every day increasing a lot. And of course, if we move into that area, cyber security, I believe those are the two things I feel I would move next.
Great, great, great. You're always on the path learning. And, we get to know what's coming next by looking at your learning curve.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Namrata, as you mentioned, right, you have been so many years, right, with the organization, and do you feel ever thinking of a career change?
It's a tricky question, Sheenam. And I would just say that, why does one look for a career change?
Yeah.
There are reasons why you feel that you should change your career. You feel that there's no room to grow.
Hmm.
There's no further learnings that is happening. And for my case, I've been in this space for 24, 25 years, and I still feel there is so much to learn, to so much to grow. I have been, in me being in the IT space, still I have been able to work in sales, right? I have been able to do the selling pitch to organizations talking about what IT or SAP transformation projects can do, and show them the benefits and walk them through my own journey when I have been part of that journeys along with clients. Then I worked in CIO office, and worked with the CIOs of other organization and also been the CIO. And the reason for that, I say, is that the way a CIO looks at an organization, wanting to look at no disruption, stability, giving the best to the business and making sure that business gets the best in class IT. I've worked in audit, and audit with respect to how the ways are working, what are the controls that you should bring in. So then now moving on to reporting with the CIO's role. So these are things which are also, I would say, sub ways, not restricting to SAP finance.
Yeah.
So why would anybody look for a change when you have those growth options and you feel that you are actually playing a new career every time you take a different role? So no, I have not changed thought of my career change, not at all.
I second you on that, right? That's why I am still growing technically in the SAP world. There are a lot of opportunities, and being with Accenture itself, right? Moving from one to another. So it was always great. And sometimes my friends ask me, Sheenam, will you retire from Accenture? I said, yes. If I have been given that opportunity, I will stick to Accenture only. But it's really great. Thanks, Namrata. And we have a lot of audience who have joined in. And what is the advice you want to give to the young aspiring technologist based on your experience?
So, like we have spoken for last, I don't know, for 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, like technology is evolving.
Yeah.
You keep learning. If you stay updated, you are relevant everywhere. You are relevant, the technology is relevant if you are updated. So every industry is growing, technology is changing and growing. So you need to find your own path or find an organization. Like I found Accenture, or you will find, so it's just not restricted to Accenture, but organizations which give you opportunities to grow, invest. For example, I'm just giving some data facts. Like Accenture invested 1 billion annually on our people. And how do they invest? They make sure that people are innovative, they can think innovatively in technology. And we have 5 regional hubs in innovation. We have connected classrooms. So, we were always ready. We were not waiting for a pandemic to happen.
Yeah.
We always had connected classrooms. We had, more than 25,000 online courses and all learning boards. So you could learn at your pace, Sheenam, you have been learning at your
Yep.
pace, right? So
Yep.
that's where, as long as you take out the time and you learn, that is it. So you learn, do, repeat, then you take on to the next. Then you also, at Accenture you have the space, the technology tools,
Yep.
and just to make sure that it's just not restricted to one technology. You have lot of technologies and developmental program that brings out the creativity in you and helps the workforce to be future ready. So I would just summarize. Okay, I do not know, I have not checked in the audience, is it only just women or we have, but as women, because it's, women who code, or as technologists, we are at the right place at the right time. And the technology is disrupting all industry. This last 1.5 years has disrupted everything,
Yep.
So the opportunities are phenomenal. The ways that we are going to work is going to change. It is just, all of us need to just find that right interest, what interests us, and then we need to go deep dive. For you it's security, for me it's finance, for somebody else it would be sales. But
Yep.
what one needs to do is keep investing in yourself, either within the organization or do some training online or even external. Keep on learning. That is the key. And once you keep learning, you will keep growing. So, this is what I would want to say to aspiring technologists or people who are technologists and wanting to grow in their field, invest in yourself, learn, and then keep growing. So
Yep.
that's all I would say.
I second you, Namrata, on that. Definitely. Keep learning always is the path to grow.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you,
Yep.
Sheenam and Namrata, for sharing all your experiences and expertise in getting people understand what the domain of SAP is, and the domain of security, whatever you were working on, and the finance domain and the sub functions within it, and the areas where one can improve their learning and venture into if they are looking for. I hope there has been a lot of audience who had benefited from your experience sharing. So thank you so much for being here. And Women Who Code is not only restricted for women, just to make that
That's
clear.
right. I
It
just
is.
wanted
It's in the code
to.
of conduct. Sure. Anyways,
I just said that because it should not be restricted, but still, I wanted to put that point
We are
yeah,
inclusive.
sure.
It's for everybody.
for everybody,
Yes.
for all the
So
technologists.
yeah, it is for all the technologists. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being
Thank you.
present here this afternoon in our Women Who Code Connect 2021. Hope people had a lot of takeaways from your session. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye.